Hey guys, what's going on? Jack for Super String and Lacrosse here. Today we review the Wolf Recon. So guys, I was really fortunate enough to receive the Wolf Recon from Wolf Athletics. You guys didn't already know, there was Jewel, there was Wolf, they merged together to form Wolf Athletics. So the combination has been really awesome, and they've been working for a while on a brand new head. So let's take a look. So I was talking a lot with John over at Wolf Athletics. He's kind of the guy who you can see on their social media page. He's taking care of the emails, and he sent me a little note about what they're really looking for when they made this head. So they know how important stringing is. So they said that the Recon focuses on the small nuances related to performance that are often overlooked. So hole positioning, ratios, shape, scoop curvature, geometry was designed for all-around ground ball performance regardless of technique. So I've noticed some really specific things within the Wolf Recon that have been different than other heads, so I'm really interested to check those things out. They made one of the lightest heads, which is 4.55 ounces, stiffen areas without compromising durability, and they really focused on the science and the math of this head. Well, anyways, it also comes with an Aura mesh kit, an Aura stringing kit, so that's another thing we're going to be looking together. It sells the whole thing, the head, the mesh, everything like that for $100, so that's a really great deal. And also the Aura mesh kit, they claim, is the lightest on the market, which I do believe would probably be true. So let's just take a look at the box. So I couldn't help myself, I actually already opened up and strung the Recon. You guys have already seen the box been opened 1,000 times, but I decided I would do it again. So the box pops right open. And here we go. So, obviously, this is where the quickie tips, which I'll talk about in a second, was, as well as the ball staff was in this baggie, and then your stringing kit was here. So your sidewall strings and shooting strings. Over here, this was where the Aura mesh kit was, right in this slot here, and obviously this is where the head is. I mean, I don't think I've strung a ton of heads and gotten a bunch of different heads from companies. This head is the best presentation, best shipping method I've ever seen on any head, ever. More so than the Command, more so than the Epic Hawk. The presentation of this package and how they got it to me was just amazing, and I've been overall really impressed with the Recon as a whole. Let's take a look at the Recon itself. I strung it up with a really nice mid-high pocket, kind of my SSL pocket. Here it is, really nice defined channel. But anyways, let's dive into the head for starters. So obviously, it strings up really nicely. So the Wolf Recon is pretty revolutionary in the sense that they offer a couple of different kind of products within the package itself. So it comes with these quickie tips. It also comes with its own stringing kit, like I said, and it even goes the extra mile. If you were to go onto the Wolf Athletics YouTube channel, you could actually see a video of how to string it. So not only do they give you all the steps and the tools to string it, but they actually show you a video for what pocket they found is to be the best for this head. Now, I decided not to string it up with the pocket they gave me, not because I didn't think it was good, just because Red Star Lacrosse, Tom Ledeen, actually already did a review where he used that pocket. So I wanted to see what it would do with other pockets, just because. So if you wanted to check out really how it really functions with their pocket, you can go over to Tom Ledeen's channel and check that out. But I strung it up with the basic SSL pocket, so obviously really nice pocket. I love how it came out, and you guys can tell from the video, it looks absolutely beautiful. So in terms of the Wolf Recon, keep in mind everything you see on this head is done for a reason. I know they've been working on this head for a really long time, so I believe that they've really put everything into it to get it to be the best it can be. So let's go into the specifics. So first of all, you have your top scoop. As you can probably notice from the side as well as the front, it's really flat. So I have been testing this out extensively with shots and ground balls, and we'll be showing all of them a little bit later, but it does have a really flat scoop. I found it actually to work really well on ground balls though. So one of the people have been criticizing, I actually think is going to work really, really well for the Wolf Athletics Recon. I decided to string it up with basic 9-time top string and a triangle to give you enough strings to do a triangle top, but I wanted to have a shooting nylon, so I just used that top string as a shooting nylon. So the Aura mesh kit, I know a lot of people have had questions about the mesh kit itself. The mesh is really nice. It feels like a lighter version of Hero Mesh. definitely the same softness and all that stuff, but it's really just Hero Mesh, just a little bit lighter and not as thick. It's really, really nice, and I'm really happy with how this one came out. In terms of the shooting strings, it's a pretty basic shooting string construction, but where they differ is with their sidewall strength. So what I've noticed while stringing this head is that the sidewalls and top strings are all the same material. They were just beating up my hands because they're so rough and so strong and so textured. I think it's one of the best top strings, one of the best sidewall strings I've ever used. It's so thin too. You know, you think if it's gonna be strong, it has to be really thick, but that's not the case for this stuff. It's really, really thin, which allows you to put it through holes a lot easier than you would typically. You can fit in the top string probably 5 or 6 holes. I decided just to go with a regular 9 diamond top string. So they have in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 total sidewall holes, so it's a ton. They also have a lot of rough kind of, I don't know if you've ever had like a hard wall and you paint it and you just like feel your hand against it, it feels really rough and textured. That's what this sidewall is. It feels really rough and textured, which allows the knots to sit and lock down in a certain place. Also, you guys have all seen the details on the throat, but I figured I might as well show them off too. So it has their little Wolf Athletics logo right here, and it fits in so well you almost can't even tell what they're trying to do, and then because it works so well. And then on the side you have the wolf eyes. So obviously a lot of people have talked about that, but I just wanted to make sure to include it in this review. In terms of the head's construction itself, where I had some concerns would be in the overall stiffness of the head. So often when a company makes their first head, although Jewel made one, Wolf Athletics is kind of new to the forefront, stiffness is usually the biggest problem. And I found that stiffness might be an issue with this head too. I left it outside in the box. It was outside all day in the mail waiting before I got home to get it. So it was in the sun and exposed to heat, and I found that it did soften up a little bit. You can see I can just kind of collapse the sidewall rails just by pushing really hard on them. So that's kind of a concern. I shouldn't be able to really do that with my hand unless this is like a face-off head. So it's a little bit too flimsy for my likings, and that's where I think the biggest problem is. But for a first starter head, I think Wolf Athletics really knocked it out of the park. It's such a light head too, which I love about it. It's nothing going on that's too crazy, but it's just a really solid head overall. I would definitely use this head, and I would definitely purchase it for the $100. I think if this was lower priced, maybe like $7 or even $80, this thing would just fly off the shelves like crazy. I think since it's $100, it might be a little bit harder to move inventory, but obviously they picked a price that was fair and competitive, and also was still making the money. I'm sure they tried to lower the price as much as possible if it meant more sales. So the sidewall strut is a little bit interesting. If you guys can see right here, it kind of has this really weird flare where it just kind of drops back. If you guys have ever seen a Brian Edge, an OG Edge, it's a lot like this face shape where the throat of the head is actually further up than the sidewall strut is. So all of this was done for a reason, like I said, keep in mind, but it does feel a little bit weird. The sidewall struts are always at direct angles. They've said that everything they did is specifically to answer a certain question. So every angle you see here was done on purpose, and they obviously had something in mind when they were designing it. What I found, like I said though, is that this sidewall is just going to collapse a little bit under immense heat, which is kind of a problem. But overall, I would give this head a 7 out of 10. If they just could fix the stiffness of it, I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10 in terms of this head specifically. The mesh kit is fantastic, so I really think it's competing with, if not beating, most of the other meshes on the market, and I'm in love with this mesh and these sidewall strings as well. I would love for them to sell their sidewall strings in a spool, because I would definitely have to pick one up. But this mesh is just super nice, and overall I'm really in love with how this head came out. So I'm going to be going now to test it outside, and I'll bring it back inside and give you a final review. So now that I brought the Recon outside and tested it a little bit more on the field, I'm going to be showing some shooting montages of it, but right now I want to talk about the performance of the head. So the Wolf Athletics Recon, I think, is a really great head. One thing that shocked me was just how light it was. I was practicing with my Lakota U, which is my game stick, and then I decided to shift over to the Recon to do the review, and I almost couldn't feel the stick in my hands. It's similar performance-wise to the Palo Pioneer, and I mentioned how light that head was, and this head was really light as well. I've heard a lot of different complaints about this head, but the one that sticks out the most is that this head, when put under the heat, warps, and the plastic's going to break, and a lot of different things. I was using it in pretty hot temperatures outside. It gets pretty hot here in New Jersey summers, and I didn't have any problems with the material seeming to get too flimsy or flexible, and I definitely didn't have any problems with them breaking, so I don't really know what everyone's kind of complaining about it. This head is, like I said, really light, and obviously the details of it are insane. They really focused on everything, from the strings to the mesh, the head to the throw. Everything on here is very detailed. So overall, I was really impressed with the Recon, and I didn't really know why everyone's hating on this head, because I think it's just such a good head overall. I didn't have any problems with it at all. The only thing I might have a concern, ground balls were a breeze with this head. The scoop was really well done. Just because of how flat it is, I feel like over time, if you just keep doing poke checks, it might flex in on itself and kind of warp that way. But once again, that's over time, and I don't even think that would be too likely, but that's just the only concern I could see just from aesthetically of this head. I want to thank Wolf Athletics and Jewel for sending me out this Recon, and John in specific. I hope I get to review more products from you guys in the future. One thing I just wanted to leave an ending note on for how, just overall amazing these products are. I decided when I got the sidewall string, I tied it up and took a hammer and was just whacking the thing. And I took scissors and was just stabbing at the thing. An extra piece of string that I had. The string does not break. If you've ever had a problem with sidewall breaking and you don't want it to happen again, pick up an Aura mesh kit, because the sidewall will never break, and the mesh is probably almost the same as East Coast Ice Hero mesh, just a lot cheaper. So I would definitely recommend you guys check out Wolf Athletics for anything you need in terms of strings, mesh, shooters, or heads. Another thing I wanted to finish on was these quickie tips at the end. So obviously, there are these tubes. You just slide them on the string, take your lighter, heat over it, and they melt perfectly onto the string. This is something that I've wanted for a while, and to see a company actually doing it is awesome. So I'm really impressed with Wolf Athletics overall. So guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure to go to wolfathletics.com, and I'll put a link to their website in my bio. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and have a great day.
We'll be right back.